Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be doing my May reading wrap-up. I hit the double digits. I read 10 books this month, and I'm very proud of myself because I haven't done that in a while because we're not going to talk about it. But I was on a roll, you know. I was really hitting it hard, and then the last like 2 or week and a half of the month hit, and I was like, I'm just not gonna read anymore. I couldn't bring myself to read, and you know what? I'm not gonna force it. So if you are interested in seeing my reading wrap up for May, let's get on with the video. Kit Connor just tweeted! I'm so sorry. The first book that I read this month is The Heart Principle by Helen Hoang. This is the third and last book in the Kiss Quotient series, and if you didn't know, I did previously read The Kiss Quotient and The Bride Test, one of my all-time favorite romance books. I still really liked it. I'm pretty sure I gave it 4 stars out of 5. It wasn't a 5-star compared to the other 2 books for me, unfortunately. And I was super excited for this book because it was going to have like my favorite of the 3 main guys here. This follows Anna, and Quan, who is my favorite out of the men. Unfortunately, he just kind of like settled for me, not like for the girls. He didn't settle for the girl. She was great, but like his personality went down. It just wasn't what I was expecting. Overall, the book was also in first person dual point of view in comparison to the other 2 that were in third person, which was interesting because I wasn't used to it, but nonetheless still read it. It was pretty good. It's my least favorite in the trio, but I still highly recommend it because it was still really good representation, of course. As always, this also has autism spectrum representation in that's also in all 3 of the books in the series. It was Asian and autism rep. She deals with like massive burnout. I 100% relate to that, and I completely understand where she comes from in this part of the book. Personally, it just wasn't my favorite out of the trio, but it was still a really good read, and I still recommend it. This won't be in order, and I don't have the book with me, just like I did last wrap up, but I read the last 2 books in the Heartstopper series so far, because for you guys who don't know, the series itself isn't over. These are definitely heavier than the first 2, because the first 2, it follows, you know, the first season. If you haven't watched the show, highly recommend it. Still one of my all-time favorite shows. I don't have the 3rd book with me. The 3rd one is my favorite out of the 4 so far. By far, it is the 3rd one that I just have, my heart just is so connected to that one. And all of them, 5 stars. I didn't give the first 2 5 stars. I gave them 4 stars because it didn't give me that feeling. But honestly, I think it's just because I watched the show first before reading it. Or maybe I was just connected more. They are more heavier reads. It touches on Charlie's mental health, more of Nick's home life, and you get the other side character's life as well. And I love the representation and the aspect that Alice Oseman wrote into mental health, in that love can't cure mental illness, like a lot of books that I've seen and I just refuse to read because it's kind of like that thing where like, oh, someone's having a panic attack, let me kiss you and you're gonna feel better, when people who struggle with stuff like that know that that's not how it works, you know. And Alice Oseman, I think, does a great way of writing a more realistic version of mental health within characters, and also representing queer teenagers, especially in love stories like that. It talks about eating disorders, homophobic home lives, and just dealing with really bad stuff like that, and different parent-children dynamics. Definitely you get like the supportive ones, the non-supportive ones, and then the supportive ones but not supportive for your other life decisions. Just, it really tackles a bunch of stuff, and I think Alice Oseman does it perfectly, amazingly, and I highly recommend anyone to read this. It's really good. The next book I read is a romance novel, and that is Emily Henry's new release, Book Lovers. I love this so much. I gave it 4 stars. I think it's my favorite Emily Henry book so far. I have all 3 of her novels. I only read 2 though, and that is People We Meet on Vacation and Book Lovers. And Charlie, oh my gosh, book boyfriend of the year. This is an enemies to lovers, like sorta, they're not academic rivals. One's an editor, one's like a book agent. It does say 2 rivals here though. One summer, 2 rivals. A plot twist they didn't see coming. The one thing I love about this is, 1, it was a super fast read. The banter between the 2, that was my favorite part. If you don't know, I love me good banter written in books, which is one of the reasons why I like, maybe I just haven't read the best friends to lovers relationships, like trope books. That's why I like enemies to lovers, because the banter between them just always get it, like for me personally. If you like banter dialogue between characters, pick this book up. This follows Nora and Charlie, and they don't get off a good start. And from the beginning, it starts with a prologue from them meeting for the first time, and then she takes a vacation with her sister, her younger sister, and to this like small town that they always romanticize because of the romance novels and movies and stuff. And she bumps into this guy who she hates, who is the person she meets in the beginning, and the both of them just keep bumping into each other, and then sparks fly from there. A lot of older sisters apparently relate to it. She is an older sister, and she's always trying to be the best person, trying to become sort of like the mother, because they don't come from like the best childhood or everything. But I just really recommend this book. It's so good. I think this is a really good summer read, which that is a video coming up anyway. The next book I read is actually, I think they released on the same day, or at least the same week, and that is Casey McQuiston's newest book, I Kissed Shara Wheeler. This is my first Casey McQuiston book. I think I read this in a day. I gave it 4 stars out of 5. I actually really enjoyed it. This is where I come in though. I enjoyed it as a book. I didn't enjoy it as a romance that much in comparison, which is it sounds weird, but it's like a mystery sort of thing. It was kind of hard for me to really grasp the chemistry a lot in comparison to other books that I've read. I will be picking up their other novels, which are One Last Stop and Red, White, and Royal Blue. You follow Chloe and Shara, and they kiss one day, and then suddenly Shara just goes missing, and she leaves like clues for these people that she also kissed and everything. And it's just like this mystery. They're trying to figure out, where is she? Why did she do this? That's basically the entire plot of it. Just needless to say, I did enjoy it. Like I said, I gave it a 4 out of 5. I liked it. I didn't like it as a romance. The next 2 books are from the Shatter Me series. I was about to say Unravel Me series. The Shatter Me series. This is part of the original trilogy. For those who do not know, there's another trilogy technically connecting them into one big series, but you can just finish them at the first 3. I actually have given the first book 5 stars, but I never ended up reading the other 2 in the first trilogy, and now I have. I'm not really going to explain each book, because I'm just going to explain the whole plot. Juliet, she had this like power, and where she'll touch someone and she'll like get their energy. She ends up going through this big transformation internally and externally, where she realizes her power is not a weapon, or it can be used as a weapon, I guess, but for good. It's a dystopian novel, and I never really read dystopian novels before, and so this is really my first like really dipping my toe into it. It's very romance heavy, for those who do not know. It is a love triangle for like the first 2 books, and then you figure out who she's with in the 3rd one. With these 2 books, I gave them 4 out of 5. Character-wise, I think Tahereh Mafi is great at writing characters and their dynamics and their relationships with one another. I loved that. She is very, very good at writing well thought out characters. Now, I don't think she's that good at writing action. I felt like it wrapped up way too easily for all the build up from here to here and everything. It kind of lacked for me. It was very easy. I love the characters. I love Kenji. Kenji has my heart. Overall, I think the like action aspect was lacking, but that's all for me, in my opinion. I think everything else was good. The next book that I read is one of my new all-time favorite books. It did not top my all-time favorite, but it's very close, and that is See You Yesterday by Rachel Lynn Solomon. I already talked about this in my previous video, but I will talk about it again. It's so good. This is Rachel Lynn Solomon's newest release. The cover's so pretty. Look at that. It's so, and then when you open it, there's an elevator. This book has my heart. It's an enemies to lovers, branching on new adult. They're in college. It's her freshman year of college. So this follows Barrett and Miles. I'm not gonna go too in depth. If you want, you can watch my guide to Rachel Lynn Solomon video. Please watch it. She's like my all-time favorite author. The 2 of them end up stuck in a time loop. He's been stuck for a while, and she just gets stuck, and she realizes that he has been, and the 2 of them decide to work together to try to get out of the time loop, and with that they fall in love. There's so many cute moments in here. There's so many like heartbreaking, heart-wrenching moments. There's a specific part that Barrett goes through and her mindset on it that I relate to so hard, and it made me want to cry so much. But then my heart got mended because I love Miles so much. The banter between them, I told you I'm a banter girl. It's just great. If you're gonna pick any of these books up, pick this one up. The next book that I read was Bloom by Kevin Panetta and Savannah. I'm not gonna try. I'm really sorry. I don't want to butcher it. But this was me looking for feelings of Heartstopper. This is a gay graphic novel, for those who do not know. The reason I picked it up, I will just be 100% honest, is the art style, because it's so gorgeous. Look at that. You can't tell me it's not. This story follows two boys. They work at a bakery. This is like a summer romance. They work at a bakery. And there's a lot of heavy-ish topics. My critique on it was the romance. It didn't hit me the way I wanted it to. I felt like there wasn't enough tension between them before they got together. I didn't really like the main character all that much. Ari, I didn't really like him that much, and I will just say that. But the art style was beautiful, and I couldn't get over that. And I did like his love interest. Again, 4 out of 5. I still liked it, but those small parts just took it down for me. And the last book I read is I Think I Love You by Ariane Desambre. This is like, this always happens. Anyway, it's very cheesy, very YA fluff type material for those who, you know, want that. I recommend this a lot. It's very short. I did tab it. You can like barely see them, but I'm starting to tab like this. This is dual point of view, enemies to lovers, sapphic romance. I gave this 3 out of 5 stars, unfortunately, and I was really excited for it. I think I'm growing out of certain YA books. There's something about this where it was too juvenile for me to enjoy, which is why I don't think I can read middle grade books. There's some adults that do, which there's no shame in that. I just personally don't think I can, just because I think I've grown out of it. And you grow out of things, so. Hey, editing Jada back. I realized I didn't explain this book, like, at all. Basically, 2 girls don't like each other. One comes back from living a year in Paris, and they end up trying to work on a film for a competition, but they end up arguing so much that they decide to split off and make 2 different films. And they're basically enemies competing against one another because they can't work on a film together, but then romance ensues. But their friends end up trying to make them think that they like one another, so maybe they can start treating each other like they don't want to kill each other. So that's the plot line of that book. So yeah, it was very cute. I just think I'm growing out of certain types of stories. If you are looking for a very cheesy, cute, wholesome, still well-written YA sapphic book, I recommend this though. Personally, it just wasn't my favorite. So those were all of the books that I read this month. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please hit the thumbs up and comment down below what other videos you think I should make. Also, while you're at it, please subscribe. I'll be very, very grateful if you do. I'd say this was a pretty good reading month for me. Sometimes I feel like I'm coming off rude, but I don't mean it that way. It was just the things that stuck out to me, but then I still give it like a 4 out of 5, like Bloom and all of that. I still recommend them. But there was no like terrible or bad books that I read this month, and I was very grateful for that. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you next time. Bye!